show is going to be yours this week, it sounds like. What do you think?
I'm excited. Playing for a Big Ten school since I was a little kid, and I'm just excited to be able to do it with my guys this week.
When you had entered the portal, from everything I've read and heard, it sounded like they made it pretty clear to you that Billy was going to be the number one guy. You'd have to wait your turn at some point. What brought you here anyway, knowing that was probably going to be the situation?
I was coming off an injury after last season, so not really knowing when I was going to be able to be fully healthy after that. So that was a big thing, just knowing that they weren't putting any pressure on me to come back right away and be ready for spring ball for this year, whatever it was. Thankfully, recovery went well and was healthy for spring ball, healthy for all the way up until now, and just being able to have that trust in the coaches, and they had their plan for me since day one that I've gotten here. That was something that I was super intrigued with and something that I loved, and was really just grateful that I was going to have a year to be able to learn under a vet like Billy, and then come what may.
What has his message been to you a little bit? Because Luke said he was looking for ways to help.
Yeah, I mean, that's just who he is. He's a good dude, good friend, still a leader of this team. So just being able to hear his voice, give me pointers at practice here and there, and watching film with him, just stuff like that. Just being able to get inside his head a little bit and just be able to bounce stuff off of each other, and just get to know the defense that we're going to see just that much better.
Does the approach change much for you, knowing that you're going to be a starter versus maybe last week?
No, honestly, last week I prepared myself as if I was going to be playing. That's just the only way I know how. After last year, being the guy, having to prepare every single week. So yeah, last week I did the same thing that I've been going about this week, and it's just part of my routine now.
Looking at the film, what did you like from week one? What did you maybe want to improve on ahead of this week?
I think the biggest thing is just operation, coming out hot. I think that's a big thing that I want to focus on, and not just me, but the offense in general. Just being able to come out swinging, come out with our best step being the next one. So being able to just go one play at a time, all the way down the field until we get in the end zone, and try and doing that early.
You picked up some big first downs with your legs, and it seemed like it fired you up, and it seemed like kind of sparked the offense. Is that something that is important as a quarterback to kind of show, like, I'll go get these yards if something else isn't working out for us?
Yeah, I just think being able to show that you're willing to do anything, put your body on the line. You don't get hit up often in practice, so the guys don't really know what you're going to do when that situation comes up. But fourth and one, got to go get it. Willing to put your head down and go do that. I think that's something that can captivate the offense.
Danny, you mentioned that you had been hoping for an opportunity like this to start for a Big Ten school. Now that it's here, how do you mentally prepare for that stage, and knowing that you're going to be the guy taking the first snap on Saturday?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting, but I've been playing at the D1 level now for over a year, so really it's nothing new. Same routine as I've had. It's just another game. It's just ball, and I'm very blessed to be able to play here and have this opportunity, and I'm very excited for it.
Being back in the Midwest, how helpful has that been, being a little closer to home anyway? And how many family members, friends are you going to have out there Saturday, do you think?
Well, I was even able to have my whole family out last Saturday, so that was awesome to have them out there for my first snaps as a Badger. And yeah, I got my parents and some really close family friends coming up this week, so just being able to spend that time with them, see them at the Arch March, and seeing them after the game and celebrating with them. Last week it was a big time thing, and excited to do it again.
How many other games were they able to go see last year when you were at San Diego State?
My parents made it out to every game that I played in. Yeah.
How different do you think it's going to be starting a game in San Diego State, starting a game in Wisconsin? Any idea?
The way I see it, at the end of the day, it's football, and the only reason I play is because I love the game. I play to make my family proud, and that's all I'm going to focus on.
For you, the passing game, made some throws down seemed like the great stack, and also that touchdown to Anthony. Where are some of the areas that look good on film when you're watching it, and then what are some of the throws you may have wanted back?
I think some of the ones I want back were just kind of the easy ones. You know, there were 2 screens that you know, I kind of had to get rid of a little bit quicker than I wanted to. Just being able to, you know, sit back, hold on to that for another half second, and then get it out. I think that's something I want back. And then there were some post throws. When one of the goals for the week was take advantage of the big play opportunities. So that's definitely something that we've been focusing on this week, and just trying to go out there and execute, you know, when the big play presents itself on Saturday.
The personality you bring to the field, the energy, the talking, stuff like that. How much has that been a part of your game, and what made you kind of adopt that approach?
You know, honestly, I have a chip on my shoulder, and you know, I'm not afraid to you know, show that. So just the passion that I bring to the game onto the field, that's just who I am. And you know, some people, you know, will take it however they take it, and thankfully the guys around me take it, you know, in a good way, and they respond to it, and you know, it lets them play a little bit more free and a little bit more loose with a little bit more confidence. So I'm glad that I'm able to do that and be a leader for this offense.
Where do you think put that chip there if you had to point at something?
I've been told I can't do a lot of things in my life, and just being able to prove people wrong, that's just the type of guy I am. So I think, you know, I've been told no, I've been told I don't have a strong enough arm, I'm not big enough, I'm not fast enough. So just being able to go out there and prove myself right more so than proving other people wrong is a big thing. And you know, it's something that I just, you know, carry that chip with me every single day. Yeah.
One of the things that Coach Fishkill mentioned earlier today was, like, you have a genuine confidence about you, and that kind of carries over to everything. Like, how do you see maybe the confidence you bring to the field kind of cross over into your normal life or outside of football life?
Yeah, I mean, I just try and be myself when I'm on the field, and even when I'm off the field, I still try and be the same me. So I'm just the guy that's, you know, going to try and joke around with you off the field, and you know, poke fun at some things, and you know, my best friends are the ones that give it right back to me. You know, we just kind of bond well if we can, you know, have that type of relationship, and you know, there's a lot of guys on the team that are that way. So I think just being able to hang out with the guys, you know, whether it's in the locker room, going to get lunch, at our apartment, stuff like that, just I think that camaraderie has really, you know, honestly improved the team, you know, perspective of maybe me or how my, you know, attitude is and how I lead. But yeah, I'm just very thankful for the type of guys that we have in the locker room and on this team.
When you're a quarterback, a lot of people, you know, have opinions or share advice with you. Just, is there something maybe from a coach or somebody that you've kind of grown up around that's really stuck with you in terms of advice, or something that you kind of always go back to when you're, you know, getting back to, you know, trying to play well?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is going back to when I was really young playing baseball. It was just always, you know, turn the page. I have the memory of a goldfish. Whether it was, you know, made an error in the outfield or struck out, something like that, just got to be able to turn the page. And, you know, just hearing that from the time I was, you know, 8, 9 years old when I started playing football, started playing baseball, all that type of stuff, that's just something that I really try and take with me. And, you know, make a good play, great. Now it's on to the next. Make a bad play, all right, cool. You know, it's the next play that matters. So just being able to do that, I think that's the biggest thing that I try and pride myself on, is that my next play is going to be my best play. And yeah, I just think that's the biggest thing. That's the first thing that popped to mind.
I was okay to ask you, just with that interception, I didn't get a chance to ask you on Thursday night, the interception intended for Trench. What was the call? Was it just miscommunication in terms of where you guys wanted the ball being placed, or?
Yeah, we were expecting them to come out in certain coverage, and they came out in something different. So just having to move on to my next read, and yeah, it was just a little bit of a miscommunication of you know, where he was, where maybe I was expecting him a little bit more, and then ultimately I just ended up leaving it short. That was the biggest thing. So you know, he ran a good route, he ran a winning route, and I just got to be able to adjust and put it on him.
Danny, after the game, you had mentioned that interception was a bit of a turning point for you, where you sort of settled into a rhythm afterward. Have you sort of carried that rhythm, that confidence into this week?
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, the guys are looking at me and seeing how I respond to this week, and you know, just being able to keep on taking a step forward, one step at a time. As the leader of the huddle, just being able to take one play at a time, one practice at a time, and really just treating every day like it is game day. That's one thing that Coach Guyton has been preaching to me all week. Is that every rep is a game rep, and every rep is important. So just being able to have that preparation to every single day, and that leads to having confidence out on the field. And we've had some good practices leading up to now.
Coach Fickle also talked about, obviously, as the starter, you're getting a lot more snaps in practice. I know it's early in the week, but what difference do you feel that's been able to make just in terms of just the workload you've been able to do in order to prepare?
Yeah, I feel like it is easier now to, kind of have my say on how I like certain plays or what I'm thinking on different looks. It is really nice to be able to have, those banked reps, and now I know when I run a play today, I know what corrections I need to make for it tomorrow, and then if it works tomorrow, just being able to make it 1% better in every play that I get and every look that I see. So just being able to have all those reps accumulate should lead to some good plays coming on Saturday.
And conversely, what's the tough part when you don't get the reps? Like when obviously Billy's getting all those reps.
Right.
What's the tough part of kind of growing and improving?
I mean, it's easy to say, like, yeah, you got to get mental reps, but really being out there and, staying extremely locked in as if you were getting the rep, it is sometimes hard, and maybe you do slip sometimes. So just being able to get a mental rep versus a real physical rep, I think there is a difference. But, as locked in as I think I was last week and getting all those mental reps, I did have the confidence to go out there and execute the game plan. But this week, being able to, go out there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and accumulate all these reps, I'm really excited for what comes Saturday.
Danny, I know we talked a little bit about the emotions you bring to the game just a little bit ago, but just about that, I think Coach Fickle this morning called it athletic arrogance. Joe Brenner called it swagger. Well, how would you describe it? What would you call it?
I like what Joe said, swagger. I appreciate that. Honestly, that's just how I play and who I am. Maybe it is, a little bit of arrogance, and Coach Fickle might be hitting it on the head, but the way I see it is just moxie, and that's just the way I try and go about life, and have the confidence in myself and everything that I do.